G'day guys and welcome to Parkway Studios. My name's Mick and today we're going to talk about a very cool little microphone which is the AKG C451EB, which is this microphone. It's a vintage microphone. They started making this guy in 1969 and they discontinued them in 1984. So if you want to know a little bit more about the AKG 451, stick around. Okay, so the 451 has been a very debated microphone for years. A lot of guys will compare this to a KM84, which we've done a review on. You can check that one out on one of our earlier videos. This one, basically the real debating point for me in this microphone is in the capsule. So the CK1 capsule, that's kind of the flagship capsule on this guy. And if you do have one of these microphones or you find one of these microphones laying around with a CK1 capsule and it doesn't sound good, it sounds brittle or it sounds harsh, you can contact AKG. They'll fix your capsule and bring it back to how it was meant to be. Relatively cheap too. So they're made in Austria, these things. They're a pencil condenser or a small diaphragm condenser microphone. The CK2 it looks a little different. It doesn't have this little grill line on the CK2. So if you see that, that's the noticeable difference between the C1 and the CK1 and the CK2. Is basically it has the same top end, but this is all just flat here. There's no little grill lines, grill cuts in the CK2 capsule. That's an omnidirectional. Then you go up to the CK5 capsule, and that's where guys start using these things as vocal microphones, and they're really, really good on vocals, the CK5s. They come with the fire mesh windscreen, which makes them really ideal for vocals and outdoor stuff. So you might find guys standing outside using these things and you'll see this really cool fire mesh grill on top of this thing. It's actually on a 451, but it makes them a fantastic microphone for outdoors. It has a 2-notch roll out here. You can knock some of the bass end, out of this. You can notch a couple of decibel out at 75 hertz and then again at 150 hertz. You can do it on the mic, and you should do it on the microphone. If you're going to do any notching out, do it before it goes in. So what are they good for? They're great on acoustic instruments. They're great on acoustic guitars. However, be really careful if you've got a bright guitar. I use tailors in the studio here. This microphone with a tailor, not a good result. The tailors are very bright naturally and they've got good high mid-range. These microphones kill them, they destroy them. So I have a Martin in here that I use a lot too, which is a little deeper and it's a little older. Some would call it darker. It's definitely darker than a tailor. This microphone goes very well on the Martin. If you get guys come into your studio and they're lazy and they haven't changed their strings, throw one of these things on because it'll bring it back to life. The darker the instrument, the better. If you want to run these through, you can run these through a lot of different preamp options as well, and a lot of guys will run these straight through a tube pre, and it just softens them. It just takes that brittleness straight out of what you're dealing with from your microphone if you run it through a nice tube pre. So, you know, the harsher the microphone, the softer the pre. That type of vibe, and it kind of evens it out. They're really, really good, and we use them here in the studio a lot on hi-hats. They're really good on hi-hats. We notch them out to 150, we don't need anything there. Stick them straight up over the top of the hi-hat facing the snare, and they're really, really nice. They're really top notch. They work great on overheads. If you can get a pair of these things, we've got about 8 of these in the studio. If you get a pair of these, amazing overheads. Really good on a snare drum. Put this right beside a SM57 and you get a phenomenal snare drum sound. You can put these on toms. A lot of guys will use these over a dynamic mic on toms. They take a little of that bounce and they focus in a lot nicer on the attack from a tom. So you can try these out on a few different things. They're great on any acoustic instrument. They're great on pianos. They're great on cellos. They're great on violins. They're excellent on acoustic guitars. They're really good on drums. You can put these guys on. They're my go-to for hi-hats. Pair of these on your overheads, really good. Put them on a snare drum with another microphone and watch what happens. Put them on your toms, play around with them. They're really, really good in a lot of different areas. Should you pick one of these up if you can find one? 100% you should. They're really, really good, and you can find them. You can find them around. You can chase these things on eBay. See if you can, try and get one with the CK1 capsule. Even if it's no good, send it back to AKG and get it fixed. well worth having this in your mic locker. They do make a newer version of this, which is the AKG C451B. I think they retail at about $900, $950 or something like that. Again, like with all the videos, I'll always tell you to do your shopping around on those and play one price against the other. It's always best interest for you guys to get a cheaper one than they're offering. So fight for your prices. They've got a attenuator switch on them, so they've got a bit of a notch, a pad notch on them. You can knock them out, I think, about 20 decibel in 0, 10 and 20 dB, which will take your SPL up to about 155 decibel, which is probably not a bad thing. They have a frequency response of 20 Hertz to 20K, which means there's a fair bit of room in there that you can muck around with these things. You'll find something you like out of them. Alright guys, there's a bit of information on the AKG C451EB, this vintage mic. You can find them around, so do your searching for them and grab one if you can. They're a really good microphone. You should definitely have one of these in your microphone locker. Please leave your comments below and let me know if you use one of these things and what you think about it and what capsule setups you've got. There's a lot of different accessories you can put on these microphones, and I'd love to know what your setup is. Don't forget to check out our other videos online. We've got some other great microphones here in the studio, and we're getting through them one by one. I'm putting these videos up all the time for you. So please subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And until next time, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.